We're on the record.
Calling the February 28th Complaints Committee meeting of the Sunshine Ordinance Task Force to order. Please take the roll.
On the call of the roll, Member Barnetsky absent. Member Hinsey.
Yeah, present.
Hinsey present. Chair Tesfa.
Present.
Tesfa present. It is my understanding that Member Barnetsky will be attending. She did confirm her attendance at today's meeting. We do have a quorum for today, and I would like to recommend changing the agenda to take item number 9 out of order, the approval of the January 29th minutes.
Do we need to take public comment on that agenda change?
Yes, you can. Yes.
Okay, so we'll take public comment on the agenda change of approval of the last minutes of the minutes from the last meeting to item number 2 on the agenda.
Yeah, this has to do with agenda changes. I have a plane to catch at 9 o'clock tonight, so I have been waiting around now the second go-around on this bunch of hearings at the Complaint Committee, and my understanding that there's not going to be any representation from the department anyway. So basically, I've been hanging around waiting for today, so I'd like to be moved up.
Thank you for your comment. All right, seeing no further comment on that agenda change, we would like to call for approval of the last of the minutes from the last meeting. I would also like to note Member Barnetsky's attendance today.
Yes, item number 9, approval of the January 24th Complaint Committee meeting minutes. And I assume there was no objection to the change of the order. Is there any public comment on the meeting minutes for January the 24th?
Yeah, I didn't get a response. Can you change the agenda to move these cases up? Because I have a plane to catch.
Which items are you speaking to?
Now there are 4 on the agenda. Number 4, number 5, number 6, and number 7 and number 8. Now there are 5. Number 5 through 8.
Are there any other public comment on this potential agenda item change of moving petitioner and Trudeau's complaints above the other complaints that are on the agenda at this time? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get it. I just put that up. If there's no public comment on the switch, then I am happy to allow Ms. Trudeau to move her complaints ahead of the other complaints on the agenda. We will still take up.
Would you like to make a motion to take items, the mentioned items out of order at this time?
Yes, if there's no other public comment on the switch. Okay.
That motion is made by Chair Tesfa. Is there a second?
Second.
So we can take that up after public comment. So the next item we will take up will be the approval of the last meeting's minutes. We will have public comment, and then we will take up the items from petitioner Trudeau.
Yes, and just to clarify, the motion to take Ms. Trudeau's items out of order has been approved without objection.
Thank you.
Item number 9, approval of the January 24, 2017 Complaint Committee meeting minutes.
Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
PC.
Can we take public comment on the meeting minutes from our last meeting? Seeing none, call the roll on that.
On the motion to adopt the minutes, Member Barnetsky.
Aye.
Barnetsky, aye. Member Hinsey.
Aye.
Hinsey, aye. Chair Tesfa.
Aye.
Tesfa, aye. The motion passes.
Thank you. And then now we will take up public comment.
Yes. Next on the agenda is item number 2, public comment. Members of the public may address the committee on matters that are within the committee's jurisdiction, but not on today's agenda. Is there any general public comment at this time? There does not appear to be any general public comment today.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, taking items out of order, is item number 5. File number 16083. Complaint filed by Antrebo against Kate Patterson and the Arts Commission for allegedly violating Administrative Code Section 67.25 by failing to respond to a media disclosure request in a complete manner. Ms. Patterson did send additional information to the task force for review. And I would like to state that upon reviewing the matter with Ms. Patterson, it appears that some of the items that are requested appear to be duplicative of items previously requested under file number 15114, in which Ms. Trebo requested all records related to harassment of SFAC employee and case number CCH 155-76914. The task force found that there was no violation in that case.
Thank you. We can give Ms. Trebo 3 minutes to speak to item number 5. And if you could please focus on the differences between the file number that Victor had mentioned and whatever you see the differences to be, I'd appreciate it.
Firstly, it is not at all similar to any case previous, and I resent the fact that Mr. Young has inserted that the reason why this file is so large is because I'm the complainant. I wanted my paperwork to be together, not in a mishmash and lost in translation. So what you have is an original IDR sent on August 31st, which is very clear and specific. Police reports, interoffice emails, photographic evidence concerning a statement made by Kate Patterson in a letter dated August 31st. Quote, and this is the statement, I have a history of contacting commissioners via personal email and showing up at their residence and workplaces unannounced. I haven't done that, so I am asking for this information. So if you kind of piecemeal go through my complaint and not the nonsense that's put forth. So I start with the summary on page 192. 6721C is the failure to identify the public records that are withheld. 6727 for the justification of withholding the records, and 6724I that there's a balancing act between the interest and on. So this is clearly a late response, and there I repeated the statement. So in a normal world, what you should see from a department is, with regard to police reports, we don't have any, and we might refer you to this place. With regard to interoffice emails, we don't have it, or we're looking for it, or you'd get piece by piece, you'd get kind of an inventory or a sense of what they have. Instead, what we get is a mishmash of chopped up nonsense where she's trying to fit other cases by chopping up other things, which doesn't even fit into it. So in the discussion, she's referencing a certain ethics complaint. Well, the ethics complaint resulted in the same exact violation, 6727, for this same exact reason. There was no inventory and there was no justification. We're just not going to give you the information. And that's basically what Kate Patterson said. You already have the police reports in your possession. What? Where's that coming from? So, and then the second violation in that ethics case was the exact same thing, 6721. So I went through piece by piece and picked apart Kate Patterson's argument. The majority of the documents she sent were irrelevant. You have the timeline on page number 1, which shows the time that it was sent. Me again picking apart a bunch of nonsense that she submitted.
Thank you. The time rang, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So
if you
once
could just
again-
finish up your thought.
My thought is always the same. Why does this lady make up all this information and put it on the letterhead of the Arts Commission? This is slander,
Thank you.
and it's gone on for a long time.
Seeing as how the Arts Commission doesn't have a member present here for, can you please come to the microphone and identify yourself?
Sorry, I wasn't expecting.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Krell. I'm the Deputy Director and CFO of the Arts Commission, here representing the department in Kate Patterson's absence.
Okay. And are you prepared to speak on this item?
I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Do you have a...
I believe that Ms. Patterson's response is on page 213, which details the Arts Commission's follow-up on this matter.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that update. Do you have any specific responses to the statement that was made by Ms. Trudeau just now?
I feel that Kate Patterson's response, I mean, it's timely. It's the same day. I see the date and timestamp, and I think it's extremely comprehensive and thorough. I don't think there's more to add than she's explained here. I'm happy to read it into the record or read a selection of it or answer questions about it.
We have it in the record. I believe it's...
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the record. Do any of the task force members have any questions for either Ms. Trudeau or the Arts Commission representative? I have a couple of questions for Ms. Trudeau, if she could approach. Thank you. Ms. Trudeau, just to clarify, I was looking through the complaint or the petition, and it looks like you're looking for the records that are related to some claims from an Arts Commission commissioner on harassment.
No, the IDR was very clear and very specific, which you'll find, I repeated it on page 1 of the timeline. I repeated it, the numbers are kind of
The
messed
police
up.
reports and interoffice emails.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. As far as
Right.
this commissioner thing, that's Kate Patterson moving way off topic. Number one, that's not what I asked for in the complaint. The complaint is very clear and very specific. Number two, if she is going to go off in that direction, I won a case at the State Court of Appeal. That case was overturned. The opinion was filed and a matter of public record by the time this complaint was filed, so it was a non-issue. All those documents that she submitted weren't even relevant to the complaint. It shows a pattern of prejudice, a pattern of misinformation, a pattern of accusation.
I guess to repeat my question, when I saw in your request what was the request for all documents, police reports, interoffice emails, photographic evidence concerning a statement made by Kate Patterson Murphy in a letter dated August 31st to the Sunshine Ordinance Task Force, that you have a history of contacting commissioners via personal emails showing up at their residences, workplaces unannounced. How is that different from what I just asked you was part of your request?
Okay. Contacting commissioners, this is a general, generic thing. Okay. So I included the letter, which she wrote on the letterhead. I know there's no evidence of this because I haven't done it, but I would like to see what she has. And rather than say we don't have it, she's just chopped up other things. And as for the police records you already have in your possession, comma, the restraining order obtained by Barbara Scalar, that's not even a complete sentence. What's she talking about? And then she quotes from a petition to the supervisor of record, but takes it out of context and piecemeal and tries to mush into it something to fit her needs when it doesn't.
Thank you. Do any of the other task force members have any other questions this time?
I guess the only question I have is the letter from Director Patterson states on the second page they have no responsive records.
Where's that? Where do you see that?
On page 219.
219. I don't see that on page 219.
Page 219, towards the top third of the page, states, please also find attached a letter from the city attorney, Brad Russo, denying a similar request based on the same argument cited above. In keeping with our original finding and that of the city attorney, we have no records responsive to this request. As for the police records, you already have that in your possession, the restraining order obtained by Commissioner Sklar.
And I'm just wondering whether there's any additional suggestions or proof that you might have or something, knowing that the agency has those records in their possession.
One would expect that if someone is going to write a 3-page, single-spaced, typewritten letter on the letterhead of the department, page 215 to 217, and sign it as a response to the task force. This letter was not sent to me, so I had to request it. So if this is a response to a file, and she's going through bit by bit, and we went through this. We began this hearing last time and stopped it. Page 216, the second paragraph from the bottom. Between August 9th and 12th, she sent 4 emails with attachments. Well, it was very confusing. She didn't number them. The first one began with, this is another attachment. This is another attachment, and you're saying to yourself, did I miss something? Where's the first in the series of 4, this and that? It's extremely time-consuming to trudge through what is about a lot of irrelevant documents that she sends, and I guess she leaves it to Victor to print them out.
But it just seems that, is there any additional suggestions you might have or something that we can hang our hat on that would give us reason to doubt the agency for not being able to identify any additional records from what's already
I know they have
disclosed?
additional records, particularly with this claim that I contact commissioners, go to their homes and residences, because Kay Patterson just does these data dumps. And prior to that, probably a year previous to that, she dumped a lot of documents on me and didn't redact information. So there were cell phone numbers of commissioners. That's when I initially contacted Victor, and she said, I was told that in a normal world, the commission secretary would ask for permission for, do these people want their private email or personal information given out? So she made the mistake, and actually I went to the full commission hearing, I spoke about it, I said, look, you have this woman giving out personal information, here it is, and I handed it over. So there is information.
Thank you.
And I just have a follow-up question to Member Baranetsky's question. On February 3rd, 2016, the task force heard your complaint number 15114 with the same request of
Similar.
all inter-office emails between the San Francisco Arts Commission and the San Francisco office concerning so-called harassment of San Francisco Arts Commission employees. And there was no violation found. So was there any additional information that you were looking for in addition to that complaint where no violation was found?
For what I've cited, the justification of withholding and the basic inventory of what documents were available and which are not available.
Okay.
So in my view, contacting commissioners, showing up at their residences and workplaces, of course it's a concern for me, and I would like to know what did I miss something? Did I do that? Let's see if there's any evidence of that.
Thank you.
I don't see how there could be. She's just basically slandered me the way she's done a lot in the past.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions?
No.
Okay. I'd like to just discuss this with the members. Do you have any feelings on this at this time? I don't have a recommendation. I think the justification for withholding records to protect victims is still justified, so
I concur with that. And I think that going beyond what the agency has stated in this particular circumstance, given the previous request, would be to step outside our role.
Okay. Would you feel comfortable with putting this before the task force with the recommendation of no violation?
I would.
I would. But summarizing the discussion today and maybe making the recommendation that it's beyond our scope of what we do.
Okay. Can you put that into a motion for us?
May I suggest a motion to find that the task force, to refer the matter to the full task force with the recommendation to find that the task force has jurisdiction and to recommend that there was no violation of Administrative Code Section
67.25.
67.25. And in that, we will state that the committee opined that they believe that the justification for withholding the records is valid.
Still valid, yeah.
Still valid. And I will provide additional language for the chair to review based on.
Thank you, that sounds good. I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Can you call the roll on that item?
Public comment?
Do we have public comment on the motion?
There being no public comment on that motion, Member Barnetsky.
Aye.
Barnetsky, aye. Member Hinsey.
Aye.
Hinsey, aye. Chair Tesfa.
Aye.
Tesfa, aye. The motion passes.
Can we
Next
move
on the
to-
agenda, item number 6, file number 17001, complaint filed by Andrew Boa against Kate Patterson and the Arts Commission for allegedly violating Administrative Code Section 67.21 and 67.25 by failing to respond to immediate disclosure requests in a timely and or complete manner. Just to summarize, the Arts Commission acknowledges that the response was late, and in response to ongoing issues with the general SF Arts Commission email address, they have discontinued the use of that practice. However, the Arts Commission states that they did provide the documents once the request was found and sent the PDF to Mr. Joe on January 3rd, 2017. And I believe on page 323, there will be information regarding that.
Can you please give Ms. Trabeau 3 minutes to speak on this item? And Ms. Trabeau, if you can make sure to mention, let us know if you received the email and attachments from January 3rd, 2017 in your statement.
No, I did not receive the email attachment, and this file is incomplete. I sent additional documents which are not in this file. So I went on a fishing expedition, which you very often have to do in these kind of cases. So I sent it to the generic email. Nothing came back. It didn't refer me anywhere. I resent it again on my own, and almost a month later got a response. That was after a phone message on Rebecca Curl's answering machine. I don't believe that the generic record request is defective. I think it's Kate Patterson who, once again, failed to monitor that and notify another employee while she was gone to check that email. It's a pattern of behavior on her part. While she might push it off to another excuse, it happens over and over again. So the IDR was clear and specific. I didn't get them. It was only much, much later when I contacted Victor and filed a complaint did he send the documents to me. So I just want to note, please address all your immediate disclosure requests to me directly in the future. Well, I've done that in the future, and nothing's come back either. And is the burden on me to call her answering machine to see if she's out of the office or to find out who she's left in charge? I don't think so. I think if something is marked in IDR, that's the responsibility of the department to monitor it. And it's a pattern of behavior of theirs, which is still going on to this day.
Can you speak to the authenticity of the email that's in the packet on January 3rd? It is addressed to you.
What page is that?
It's on page 323.
3.
It includes all the logbooks of inspections at Justin Herman Plaza.
Can I speak to the authenticity of it? I received it on January 3rd after this complaint was filed. And
So you
after,
did, but you have received the documents now.
No, I remember sending a follow-up email saying there were no advisory committee notes and photos, and I didn't get a response. So
Did you receive the email on January 3rd that's sent to your address with the attachments? Starts on page 323.
I would have to check.
Okay. Thank you. Do we have a statement from the Arts Commission on this item?
Thanks. I just wanted to concur with the statement that Kate Patterson provided, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Do the task force or the complaint committee members have any questions on this item?
Would you mind just summarizing your position?
Sure, no problem. So the email received on the 26th went to this email address that we created at the recommendation of the Sunshine Task Force, which was meant to streamline the process, but which our staff found actually administratively inefficient and I guess sometimes technically inaccurate. We do always have automatic out-of-office responses anytime a staff member is out with a backup person to contact in their absence. So in this case, I don't know any more than is in this response, but it does look like we responded completely on the 3rd, right after the holiday, and that looks like a comprehensive response to me. There were no advisory committee notes and photos for the time period December 1 to December 26th, and an explanation of the delay in response due to a technical issue. So I don't have anything to add.
Do you know how that search was conducted, or the process by which that search is done?
Which search?
The one for the request.
Oh, sure. There's just one staff person who's managing the program who's responsible for the notes, and then there's advisory committee members as well. So we always contact all of them to ask about any notes that they would have or emails they would have.
Okay. And as you know, that was done for this particular
Yes, absolutely.
Member Hinsey, do you have any questions for?
Not at this time.
Right, Victor, can we give Ms. Trudeau a minute to rebut whatever was said? Thank you.
I'm referring to page 346 of your packet. I have not, Mr. Young, I have not received the documents requested. She did respond on January 3rd, but did not include the PDF attachments she referenced. As of today, January 9th, I have not received any documents. And then I explained that I spent over an hour looking through all my emails just to ensure that there was no PDF attached. That's it. And then I can pull up my email to refute the claim that all...
Microphone, please.
As of today and yesterday, I sent information. I did not get an out of office email on Kate Patterson's account. I can show that to you right now.
I'll ask the task force members, complaint committee members. Item 323, it shows that there is an attachment. Do you find it necessary to have Ms. Tribble pull up her email to show that she did not receive an attachment? But
I think if it's in the public record.
that's what we need to be
sufficient.
going with. Yes. Okay. So that's unnecessary, Ms. Tribble.
Can we take notice of the fact that it is in the public record? Just
Sure. I mean, I don't think we need to because it's in the record. You don't have to take notice of it. I think that, I mean, what I'm seeing right now is that the response was late, and we can
Find a violation.
find a violation, yes, for timeliness, but it shows also that an email was sent with an attachment from Ms. Patterson Murphy with the logbooks and photos in PDF form, and those are present in the record for us to rely on. So I feel like moving forward, we can just make the violation for timeliness, and that's it.
To summarize, the motion is to refer the matter to the Sunshine Ordinance Task Force with a recommendation to find that the task force has jurisdiction and to find that there is a violation of Administrative Code Section 67.25 regarding the timeliness of the response provided. However, the response was provided. Who would like to make that motion at this time?
So moved.
second.
Is there any public comment? There does not appear to be any public comment. Would you like to take a vote on that matter?
Yes, please.
On that motion, Member Barnetsky.
Aye.
Barnetsky, aye. Member Hinsey.
Aye.
Hinsey, aye. Chair Tesfa.
Aye.
Tesfa, aye. The motion passes. Next on the agenda, item number 7, file number 16096. Complaint filed by Anthropo against Kate Patterson and Arts Commission for allegedly violating Administrative Code, Section 67.25, by failing to respond to a media disclosure request in a timely and/or complete manner. Upon my review, I believe the request was made on October 14, 2016. The Arts Commission provided an acknowledgement of receipt of the request on October the 14th, the same day. Additional response was provided on October the 18th, which appears to be one day late. Mr. Rowe, on October the 19th, requested an appointment to inspect specific documents. The Arts Commission requested clarification from Ms. Trabeau on October the 19th. That clarification was not provided, and therefore the Arts Commission sent an additional follow-up letter. I believe the Arts Commission has stated that all documents in their possession were provided. However, the Arts Commission does acknowledge that the response was late due to some miscommunications for backup of Ms. Patterson.
Can we give Mr. Bo 3 minutes to speak to this
I
matter?
would really appreciate it that Victor Young doesn't summarize these complaints because he doesn't do it correctly. And I've taken great lengths on page 1, on page 358, on page 357 to provide a timeline, which is not what he said by any means. Basically, October 14th, I sent the request. They responded by the end of business on Monday. It's now the end of business on Monday. I don't receive a response, so I contact the task force. And then suddenly, Kate Patterson sends 4 pages. So, of course, it's a late response, 6725. And like most of these complaints, they're triggered by me filing formal complaints with the task force. Otherwise, they just drift away. Like the 2 that I can pull up right now. It's the same thing over and over again.
Let's rely with what's, if you want to make reference to what's in the record.
Okay, so October 19th, I'm asking for an appointment to inspect the original documents because, once again, she hasn't given me an inventory of what she has, what she doesn't have. It's nothing. Then she says, well, I may invoke an may invoke on the 19th, and I'm saying to myself, is she going to invoke this? What is going on with this woman? So, and then she says, I refuse to be more specific. I haven't contacted her in that intervening time. She just made that up. And then she says, she gives me a 2-hour window that very day to run into the office. What am I even looking at? She hasn't told me what's there and what she has. So then she'll let me know when other documents arrive, other documents. Okay, so on the 20th, I asked her to reread the original IDR in capital letters, trying to make it as clear as possible. And she doesn't reread it. She just, that was it. I didn't get any additional documents. I was not notified. I sent some follow-up emails saying, once again, can you give me an inventory of what documents you have? Are they original? If there are more coming, what is it that you have? And I never got a list. So it's, once again, the failure to identify the public records that were withheld, 6721C, the failure to justify the withholding of the records, 6727, and 6725A for the late response. So the IDR wasn't timely and it wasn't complete. From all of this, I still don't know what they have and what they don't have. So you have the timeline, you have a applicable case law on page number 2 in the Supreme Court and in the appellate court, and that's it. From my point of view, there are 3 violations there.
Thank you. Could the representative from the Arts Commission please approach the microphone and summarize your position?
Sure. So I am in agreement that we were late with our response in Kate's absence and that we did respond fully when Kate returned. I see here that we offered the time 2 weeks and a 2 weeks notice, and we listed what documents we had for inspection. Okay,
You okay?
No, I'm really not. But October 20th, Kate says, in your original email, you said that you were available at any time and request an appointment to inspect the original documents. You did not say that you needed 2 weeks' notice. We are fine to schedule an appointment for you 2 weeks from today, Thursday, November 3rd, between 2 to 3 are open. Please let me know if this time works for you. And then she lists all the documents that fall under the guideline. I don't know how much you want me to read from here or what's helpful for you.
I see documents beginning on page 372 regarding the appointment of Commissioner Sklar.
Right.
Oath of office, other
Right.
documents of that nature.
Right.
Are there any other documents that the Arts Commission can provide on this topic? The Arts Commission can't create documents that don't exist. So I'm trying to find out, are these...
It looks like oath of office, dates of swearing in, and letters of confirmation that were requested, we provided.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
You may be seated.
Okay,
Are
thanks.
there any other questions from...
No.
No? Okay. I have a question for Ms. Trudeau. Ms. Trudeau, there are several documents that have been identified starting on page 372
There are 3 documents.
that are in reference to the specific appointee that you are looking for documents for.
But if you look at the original IDR, it covers from 2009 to 2014, I believe.
Right. Do you believe that there are any other documents that are in the Arts Commission's possession on this topic?
If you look at Page 362. I had a pending hearing before the Ethics Commission, and Jessica Bloom is the executive director there. So basically, she asked me if I could kind of flesh out from them what documents they have. So I already know from running around City Hall for the appellate case that even though Barbara Scolar claimed to have served under 5 mayors, there was only one oath of office for a 2-year term. If the Arts Commission had more documents, I certainly wanted to see them. So do they have them? We don't know. But if I can just,
Sorry,
one second.
I have a clarifying question from what you just stated. So from Ms. Bloom, did she make you think that there are more documents out there that you have not received? Or because you just...
I really just kind of want to focus on sunshine matters because it's real easy to go off topic.
Okay, I mean, I don't want you showing any emails on the screen that you're showing right now. What you need to show us is in the record. If you would like to give us more information as whatever is in your email, we can add that to the record, but we will need to continue this matter in order to review those documents. But we can't be looking into your email.
I'm speaking to an issue that all emails, if an employee of the Arts Commission is away on vacation or et cetera, it would kick back to somebody else, or that there would be something coming back to the sender of the email, especially when it's an IDR in the subject line. So what I'm noting to you is even as of yesterday, that still isn't going on. So, I mean, they can say what they want, this is America, but bottom line, there's several violations here.
Yeah.
It's the same thing over and over again.
Okay.
I am no closer to knowing what documents they have and what documents they don't have.
Okay, thank you. My feeling at this time is that it sounds like Ms. Trabeau has some information about continuing problems with forwarding of requests, things like that, and I would feel more comfortable having her submit that information to Victor to be included in the record and to continue this matter to the next complaint committee meeting.
It's not relative to this complaint, and I believe Chair Wolf is very
Microphone?
specific.
Microphone?
Chair Wolf, my notice is that he's very specific. He wants to see the face page. He wants the hearing to be focused on what the face page says. By me supporting outlying things or support of this or that, it's way outside the scope.
Then what is the purpose of you pulling up your email here today?
The claim that was just made that if an employee is out of the office, it will once again kick back or it will be referred to somebody else. It
I believe
still
they've already
isn't.
acknowledged that they were late.
But as of yesterday, it hasn't changed.
Thank you. At this time, the only violation that I would feel comfortable recommending would be on the item being late, the timeliness issue of October 18th. Documents were provided in response to this request. It sounds like there could possibly be other documents in existence. But if the Arts Commission is not in possession of them, I don't feel comfortable.
I also don't see how those are relevant to a potential violation.
Right?
But they haven't said they don't have
I'll move. Do we need to take forward?
The motion, I believe, would be similar to the last one, is to move to recommend, refer the matter to the full task force with the recommendation to find jurisdiction and to find that there was a violation of 67.25 for failure to respond in a timely manner. However, the documents that were in possession of the Arts Commission were provided.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any public comment on this motion? Seeing none, could you call the roll, Victor?
On that motion, Member Barnetsky.
Aye.
Barnetsky, aye. Member Hinsey.
Aye.
Hinsey, aye. Chair Tesfa.
Aye.
Tesfa, aye. The motion passes.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is item number 8, file number 16097, complaint filed by Andrew Wood against Key Patterson and Arts Commission for allegedly violating administrative codes, section 67.25, by failing to respond to an immediate disclosure request in a timely and/or complete manner. Would you like me to provide a summary?
I don't need a summary because I looked at the documents, so I'm going to leave that up to the other task force or complaint committee members.
Here, go ahead, Victor.
Yes, I believe that a request was made on October the 14th, with the request for all documents regarding case A145691 in the California Appeals Court. On October the 14th, the same day, an acknowledgement of receipt of the request was provided. On 10/18, an email was sent to Ms. Rose stating that the record was attorney-client privilege. I believe that was a late response. On 10/18, additional emails were sent to Ms. Rose clarifying that the additional clarifying language regarding attorney-client privilege. The Arts Commission acknowledges that a response was late, but was provided. The Arts Commission state that they do not have any responsive documents and that emails were sent regarding justifications for withholding.
Can we give Mr. Bo 3 minutes to speak on this matter? I'd like to ask the petitioner to focus on the attorney-client privilege issue and any response that you have to it, or if you feel that it was improperly invoked.
The attorney-client privilege doesn't apply in this matter because, once again, the case was already heard. The opinion was filed on October 19th, so it was a matter of public information at that time. Excuse us? Wow. So anyway, can you stop the clock?
Yeah. We cannot have
Jeez.
anyone approaching the clerk or the commissioners at this time. Thank you.
I just want to note for the public record that my public comment was abridged by a former member of the task force here. Anyway, okay.
Mr. Bo, hold on.
So that,
Can we just start the clock over?
okay, that'll be good.
Thank you. Can you start from the beginning?
Okay, you'll see on page 1 and 2 the timeline of what took place. So you're asking me to focus on an attorney-client privilege, which doesn't apply in this matter because the opinion was already filed on the 9th. It was a matter of public record. Lauren Curry, the city attorney that covers the War Memorial, the Arts Commission, General Counsel, and some other entities had already been notified, and she had a duty under the California Rules of Court to notify her client, the Arts Commission, of this. So I know that it was sent to them because I got a copy of it on her email. It was also sent to the War Memorial. Once the opinion became final and the remitter issued, that was also sent to them. So they did have documents responsible to this request. So, yeah, I'm just noting mistakes that Kay Patterson made October 18th. She copies me twice on the email. Margaret Baumgartner, she copies twice, which makes it very time-consuming for me to track her emails, which are unbelievably annoying. And then she goes on the 18th when I explained to her, you once again, you haven't identified what documents you have and the reason for turning them over, which is the justification for withholding. And so she wants to go at it again. So she's having her own second shot at this. And she's confirmed with staff that we have no records responsible to this. So she's giving me a different reason for what documents she may have or may not have. So it's not attorney-client, it's staff says we don't have any. So which one is it? And she's also copying Margaret Baumgartner, who was at that hearing and certainly knew what took place that day. So the violations are 6725, 6727, 6726, and one other thing, the failure to assist the requester, which is a big thing. So she hasn't stated what they have and what they don't. She's not cited a section of the ordinance as a justification for the withholding. While she may have said attorney-client privilege, has she cited a section in the Sunshine Ordinance that applies? She has a duty to cite the section of the ordinance. So, that's it.
Thank you. I'm just the representative from the Arts Commission. Can you please summarize your position and any new information you might have?
Sure. I'll just summarize by rereading Kate's letter to Mr. Young. We were late for the same reason previous. We did fully respond to Ms. Chabot's request. Let's see. I did communicate that the Arts Commission does not have any records responsive to this request. If we did have records regarding this criminal case, they would be confidential attorney-client communications. And she did provide the appropriate legal language to justify withholding in the email.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Do the complaint committee members have any further questions for petitioner or respondent?
No.
Just because a case has been heard at the appellate court doesn't mean that attorney-client privilege doesn't apply anymore. So that's not a reason for Ms. Chabot to be able to access these records.
It sounds like there was a justified reason for withholding, and records were properly searched otherwise and provided. Once again, the late decision requires perhaps a finding as found in the previous cases. So I would like to propose the motion made beforehand. I don't know exactly how. Would you mind wording it again?
Yes, the motion is to refer the matter to the Sunshine Ordinance Task Force with a recommendation to find jurisdiction and to find a violation of 67.25 for failure to respond in a timely manner. And I believe in this case, it would be that all documents were provided or the justification for withholding is justified.
So moved.
You second that motion, Member Hinson?
Second.
Can I just clarify? So the finding for lateness was because it was sent to this email address.
I believe that Ms. Patterson made arrangements for coverage. However, there were some staff issues in that the backups didn't perform their assigned. I don't want to say didn't perform their assigned task, but they didn't respond in a timely manner. So the IDRs were missed until Ms. Patterson returned.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry for interrupting the motion. Sorry. Yeah, that's fine.
Thanks
the
for that
motion was
clarification. Do we have any public comment on the motion? Okay. At this time, I would like to hear a rebuttal from Ms. Chabot, given the discussion that we've had and our understanding that attorney-client privilege still applies even after something is heard on appeal. So, Ms. Chabot.
Okay, once again,
1 minute, please.
she cited a letter. She didn't reference it. It's October 25, and in this letter there was their duty to cite a section of the code is not in the letter. First off. Second off, it's not a criminal trial. And third off, if you read the section which involves justification of withholding, and I submitted a lot more documents that did not make it into this file, I mailed them, you would see that it's clearly stated in the section of justification of withholding that they have a duty to cite a section of the ordinance, which they have not done. So just for the public record, once again, you see, and this is typical, that the Arts Commission does not come in with paperwork. They're extremely vague. They just seem to cover up one for another. The attorney-client privilege does not apply to this because there were public documents. They were on the Court of Appeals website by that time.
Can we call the roll on this motion?
On that motion, Member Barnetsky.
Aye.
Barnetsky, aye. Member Hinsey.
Aye.
Hinsey, aye. Chair Tesfa.
Aye.
Tesfa, aye. The motion passes.
Thank you.
I would just, Ms. Chabot, I'd like to make a, Ms. Chabot, I would like to make,
abridge my public comment.
I know,
Ms.
but then we
Chabot,
gave you the
may
full
I-
time. We gave her the full time. That,
yes, you did.
Okay. So,
I was going to state to Ms. Chabot that in the future, she should state her full complaint, and that in her complaint, she only stated 67.25 and
Right.
not the other portions. And the Arts Commission was not able to respond since she did not list it.
well, she's welcome to bring that
Yes.
those other violations, should she choose to, in writing.
And I wanted to let her know that these would go before the full task force on April the 5th, the April the 5th, 2017 at 4 p.m.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda. Item number 3, file number 16113, complaint filed by Larry Chan against Lieutenant Catherine Whalen and the San Francisco Police Department for allegedly violating Administrative Code, Section 67.21 by failing to respond to a public records request in a timely and/or complete manner. At the last meeting of this committee, the committee reviewed the matter and asked questions of the police department. They did respond to that. I believe that is on page 65 of the packet. And from my understanding, I believe the only document of concern at this time is email correspondence from Sergeant Lynn Riley as of 12/21/2016. If I am correct, I would appreciate a correction.
Is the petitioner present today?
Yes.
Okay. Please give the petitioner 3 minutes to give his position.
Okay. Good evening, members of the task force. My name is Larry Chan, and the email in question, I believe it was December 21st, 2015, was the clarification for Sergeant Lynn Riley's emails. And I'm only here to answer your questions, so if there's any other questions to answer for me. I know I had emailed back Victor my rebuttal upon seeing the receipt of what the police department had emailed towards you. I sent you, I believe, 92 pages of internal affairs closed case document, transcripts, and also a letter from the chief of police imposing discipline, which in fact states the case is closed, to rebut what the police department's answer to your 5 questions from the last task force committee hearing, requesting if it was an open case or not, if it was a closed investigation or not. And in theory, it technically is. Lieutenant Wallen's answer is an open case. It's an open case because it was the case was closed, but I'm appealing the discipline.
So it's reopened.
So it's actually not closed because I would not accept a discipline. So, but as far as the investigation goes, that prior to my making a records request, the case was closed. Otherwise, I would not know to make a records request based on our government code and Skelly hearings. In case law for the government code, I was not eligible to receive any discovery on an open case. Once the case is closed, I can get all discovery in the matter if I suffered any discipline whatsoever. So that's how I was able to research the discovery and notice and requested the records request from her email, because based on Sergeant Riley's investigation, she generated the complaint, and everything in SFGov emails are public record. I know myself. So I caught some discrepancies with the internal affairs lawyer, which, I received the records request within, I believe, 2 weeks, because they asked for a 14-day extension. I had no problem with that. And when I received it, there was a lot of redactions, but the gist of what I was looking for was completely blacked out, which led me to leave to something more that they were trying to hide. And as we are, all police officers are trying to be transparent. The ones that have to investigate other police officers should be transparent themselves. And now her rebuttal, they changed they're quoting the government code, and now they're stating the evidence code. So the police department's flip-flopping back and forth between why they don't want to release certain things. There's 3 attachments to that email in question, but I don't care about what email address she had on a private one. There's a body of 5 pages of an email that is saying something that could be very retaliatory towards me. And that's why I'm trying to get answers, because we can all see, people that are charged for something can see their accusers. This is the same principle in the administrative setting. That's nothing further.
Thank you. Is there anyone here on behalf of the police department? Okay. Complaint committee members, do you have any questions for the petitioner?
No.
Okay. So which portions are there any outstanding documents?
No, I think you are in receipt of everything I had sent back, but there's nothing. It's just my trying to get that completely blacked out those 5 pages blacked out. I think there were pages, I forgot what I listed, it was 5 through
It
17.
starts on page 78.
Okay, so the documents are still kind of outstanding because you received something, but it's blacked out.
Yes, the ones that I wanted to see were completely blacked out.
Okay, and it appears that the status of the case, though, is still open.
It's a closed case. It's just open because pending me accepting the discipline or not. It's done. There's no further investigation done by the department. It's just by administrative standards, it's considered open because I have not accepted the discipline.
So is it your case? Is it your case?
Excuse me? Yes,
it
it is.
Is it your case?
I was the one investigated. They completed their investigation. It was closed, and by the California Government Code and Skelly, I'm entitled to see all the discovery if I wanted to appeal any decision made or any discipline imposed upon me.
Sorry, so can you clarify then what you had said that but it's not closed according to?
It's considered when the case is considered open because when the police department completes their investigation, the investigators finish their investigation. It goes up to the chain of command. The chief of police imposes whatever discipline internal affairs sets upon you. You either accept the discipline, or you sign for it, and then it goes in your personal record, or you say no, I don't want to accept that discipline. I want to appeal it to a chief's hearing, which is seen under a deputy chief, and you just state your case. I mean, I have the decision of either eating it or accepting it. But I'm trying to find answers prior to doing that because I believe this would exonerate me once I find out, because I believe there's nepotism. There's a lot of cover-up going on by the brass of the police department against me. Because if you read the entire, I don't know if you've read all of it, there's a lot of First Amendment by myself. I'm a sworn union member, a delegate, and I was a director, and I was also there's a lot of hyperbole, there's a lot of sarcasm with this whole thing, but it wasn't meant to. I think they even tried, after this thing, they tried to say I committed a felony and put me on a Brady list, which I had just appealed, and they reversed it. So that was step one to this.
I mean, my concern right now is that whether the case is open or closed, there's certain information in the case that under 6254 would involve the protection of a witness in the case. And so even if the case was closed or open, certain witnesses, as you know, participate in investigations under, as anonymous because of fear of retaliation from the person being investigated. It appears that the police department is using that Government Code 6254, invoking that in order to, because the disclosure could endanger the safety of a witness. And so I'm wondering, what is your response to that specific invocation of that code, of a section of the code?
Well, that's stretching because I'm a sworn police officer to protect and uphold, and that's also a violation of all our principles and policies and a law that I would not do. I'm a supervisor in the police department, but like I said, I'm trying to find answers. And she did not claim there was no violation of any law, and the sergeant who claimed the allegation, she claimed she received it on her personal email, which she did not state that in her investigation, which is, I'm held to a standard. She's not completely being truthful as well. So I don't know if she received it from somebody. They could be making this up for all I know.
Okay,
But
I'm sorry. Received what? I didn't catch that.
I did. So I have a union I send union emails out and I send information. I also had a Facebook group because a lot of people are into the social media thing. So whatever's done on the email was done on a private Facebook group. So there's union information, and there was a lot of violations of officers' rights for the way the internal affairs did investigations, where they'd show up out of the city and just knock on people's doors and try to get information without having a representative or a lawyer present for the member while internal affairs was doing their investigation. So I let it be known. I was notified by commanders and captains. They knock it off. Stop telling. Don't give away our secrets. But people need to know their rights. So first they said to knock it off, and all of a sudden, 3 days later, I received a complaint. We went through the process, and they would never say who the complainant was. And then you see, that's why I gave you all this discovery from the investigation, and they had stated that she received, someone had screenshotted a posting I'd made, which was the same as an email, but they didn't say, it was an anonymous member, but they didn't say who they didn't claim any whistleblower act or anything else. So there's no such thing, and then she put it on her email, but I'm not trying to see who the person was. I wanted to see what's listed in the email. They could redact the name for all I care. I want to see what's written. There's 5 pages there. There's only 3 pages attached on the screenshots, and that could have just been an attachment. So what is written in those 5 pages that are completely blacked out? I don't need to see an IP address, an email address from Sergeant Riley's personal email. That could be redacted. I don't need to see the name of the complainant. What I really need to see is the body of the email that they feel that the department needs to completely black out. Everything else that you see is privy that they blacked out for crime bulletins and police email addresses and wanted bulletins and overtime. Some of those things are left in there, but the department is flip-flopping back and forth, hiding behind either the government code, and now they're using the California evidence code. So they can't make up their minds what they want to claim as their protection. First they claimed the 6274 for the witness protection, then they said it's
Okay.
for personnel records. It's my personnel records. This affects me.
So is the information that you're trying to find out what was in the email?
Correct.
Okay. I don't feel comfortable right now making a motion on a violation. I really feel like we need to hear from the police department. I know in the letter that was sent from Steve Betts, the legal counsel, stating that any action that was being taken against Sergeant Chan was based on the Facebook post, not based on the email, but the email in itself could be a public record. And I need some clarity as to what kind of witness protection might be occurring or something like that. My leaning, and I would like to hear from the other complaint committee members, is to continue this item and require IED to send someone to speak to that matter specifically, because what we have in the packet is a little bit vague, but at the same time, I think there are serious concerns that could be in place and reasons why Sergeant Chan might not be allowed to have access to this document concerning the seriousness of the case. So that's what my leaning is.
I agree. I have
ready?
a question for Victor. When you sent this notice, didn't we last time say that we were going to instruct or require the police?
At the time that this was, it was just a request for additional answer to questions.
Okay.
We did not require them to show up.
Okay.
As we were.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see the answers to the questions, but I would like them to appear. So how do you feel, Member Baranetsky? The answers to the questions are on page 65, right?
Yes, I believe so.
I still feel like it's a little bit vague.
So I agree with Chair Tesfai's suggestion, but I just want to clarify one thing. I understand that you were explaining that the case is closed, but currently it's going basically to an appeals process, basically?
Yeah. If I don't accept the whatever is imposed upon me, or any member that doesn't accept the imposed discipline, then you sign it, say you request a chief's hearing, and then you can sit on appeal, and it goes before a deputy chief, and you plead your case, and they can make a determination to let the discipline stand or exonerate you.
Return it.
Or they can exonerate you.
Okay, and what's the timeline for that process?
There isn't one. I mean, I can push.
You
I
have
can push
appealed
it. It's on a list with a bunch of other people because I ended up with a reprimand, and there's a lot of people that just appeal it, because there's nothing to lose if you appeal it. There's no recourse for doing so.
But is there a timeline for when that appeal will be heard, or?
No. They go as fast as they can go. There's like dozens.
Okay, but it's on the docket.
Well, there's no docket. It's pretty much you could push it like, hey, can we speed me up?
The proverbial docket.
Yeah,
It's
it's on
in
the
line.
list. There's
It's
a
on
queue
the-
somewhere. I don't know
Okay.
where I fall on it. I think the last time someone said I was 9, but it could be. I could drag it out as long as I wanted to.
And so my concern being with that, pairing with what Chair Tesfaye said, just in terms of it still not being a closed investigation, if there is an appeals process still pending.
Yes, but like I said, the investigation is closed. There's nothing else they can add to it. There's nothing else I can do. There's nothing that changes this. It's just I'm appealing the decision. There's no more investigation. As far as internal affairs is concerned, this case is closed.
Right. I understand in the sense that you're saying that no new facts will be added.
Correct.
So the question is how you define investigation. I think that we would obviously still hold this matter to be discussed further, but I'm just marking a question that might be discussed further.
Okay. Well, Lieutenant Wallen's answer to the question was when the records request was made, was the investigation closed? And was the investigation ongoing? I believe was that the question from one of the 5 questions on the task force?
Was at the time of the request was made was
Ongoing or completed?
Yes.
Yes, and the investigation wasn't completed. She just stated that it was the case is open. But by all means, like I said, there's no way I would receive, if the case was ongoing, there would be no way I would receive any discovery or to even know to do a records request, because you're not entitled to see anything until the case is closed.
Right.
And that's how that works. And like I said, I wouldn't be standing here before you making a request had I not had the investigation still be open.
Okay. So I would like to make a motion to continue this matter to the next complaint committee meeting, and with a requirement for someone from the police department to be present to speak to the issue of the status of the case, in addition to the justification for invoking 6254 for the protection of a witness, as an exemption to providing the documents under the Sunshine Ordinance.
So moved.
Can we call a vote on this item?
Public comment.
Can we public comment on this motion? Seeing none? Thank you.
On that motion, Member Barnetsky.
Aye.
Barnetsky, aye. Member Hinsey.
Aye.
Hinsey, aye. Chair Tesfaye.
Aye.
Tesfaye, aye. The motion passes. This matter will be continued, and an invitation will be sent to Lieutenant Whalen.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is item number 4, file number 17005, complaint filed by Janelle K. Wood against City Administrator Naomi Kelly and the Office of the City Administrator for allegedly violating Administrative Code, Section 67.21 and 67.34 by failing to respond to a request for public records in a timely and or complete manner, and for willful failure to discharge any duties imposed by a Sunshine Ordinance.
Is the petitioner? What were you
Sir?
saying, Victor?
Sorry, I was going to ask if you wanted a summary, but are you representing Ms. Kaywood or?
City Administrator's Office.
Okay.
Did we hear anything from Ms. Kaywood?
No, we did not.
Okay.
Just to provide the summary.
Sure.
Ms. Kaywood request was for 300-hour service inspections of all SF Fire Department trucks and engines from January 1st, 2011 to present, including dates of service inspections and inspections of each engine. Upon an investigation by the city administrator, they were informed by the central shop that such records do not exist and offered a different type of record that composed of approximately 30,000 pages. The city administrator was advised that the records are kept in a digital format and not in a written format. Upon receipt of that response, the complainant clarified that their request was for a thin binder containing service inspection records, handwritten records of mechanics who performed the service. The city administrator considered this clarification of the request a new request for information, as it was significantly different from the original request. Once it was clarified what the complainant was looking for, I believe the city administrator posted those documents online and provided that link to the complainant. The initial response to the January 3rd request was responded to on January the 13th, and that one appears to be timely. The follow-up request was made on January the 16th, and it does not appear to be a response until January the 31st, which may be late. And that completes my summary.
Thank you. Can the respondent please approach, and if you could focus in your 3 minutes on the timeliness issue specifically, as well as the need to provide documents, I guess numbering more than 25,000. Thank you.
Jack Gallagher with the City Administrator's Office. I deal with any sunshine requests that come through our office, so I dealt with this one. The initial answer to Ms. Kaywood's request gave an estimate of 25 to 30,000 pages because Central Shops is a little different in the fact that their database is all online. So each time anything gets done, that would essentially be 1 page. And she requested all SFFD vehicles and engines, and they have a number of them. And many of these vehicles are very old, so a lot of these vehicles would produce a huge amount of paper. And the way that the database is set up is you essentially have to pull up each item on its own and print it off on its own. It's not just something where there's a setting where you could say print all requests or all inspections or repairs and have it in a nice little Excel spreadsheet. It's set up as you pull each one up on its own and print it from there. After further talking with Central Shops and getting clarification from Ms. Kaywood on what she was requesting, we were able to then narrow down her request due to a terminology back and forth between the fire department and Central Shops. Central Shops essentially has their own lingo, I guess is the best way to put it. And I think that led to some clarification issues regarding what record she was exactly requesting. Due to the size of Central Shops, they essentially repair and maintain almost the entire city's fleet, except for the MTA. So they tried to get everything within a digital database to keep better records. Until later on, we were able to find out that there was binders that did have handwritten requests on them. We did give Ms. Kaywood a copy of those requests. I have them with me. Fire is very specific in the fact that they are essentially the only shop that does that, or section within Central Shops that does that. So I think that led to the issue at the time. And it was a lot of clarification, trying to figure out if these things actually existed, because Ms. Kaywood's requests were a little different each time. At one point, she said that there was a binder for every single vehicle and engine, which there is not. And I think that would be a little bit easier to recognize, and if there was binders like that. But there was just, I think there was a lack of communication in terms from both parties, initial communication from both parties, to understand what her exact requests were. It's our job to provide everything that we possibly can regarding these, so that's what we tried to do. So.
Are there any questions from the complaints committee members for the representative?
Not at this exact moment.
Actually, I did want to make one note. In the memorandum from the city attorney's office, there were a couple items in here that there's a different complainant in the complaint. It says Ellen Sang.
Which page are you on?
Page 111, or 112, excuse me. Under the complaint, it says complainant Ellen Sang. I have no idea who that individual is.
That would be a typo by Mr. Cola.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, because there's also a further typo on page 114 under legal issues and legal determinations. Did DBI violate Sunshine Ordinance in section? There was nothing. DBI is a separate department, has nothing to do with the city
I will
administration.
point this out to DC Cola and see if he can rewrite this report.
Thank you. Just wanted to tie up all loose ends on it.
At this time, and this question can first be for Victor, or for Mr. Gallagher, and then Victor could chime in with what he knows. Are there any outstanding documents for Ms. Kaywood?
There was, well, it's a further request after everything was submitted.
A further
So-
request or a separate request? Does it have to do with the...
So we provided copies of the handwritten binders, which I have a pile of them with me today. We
Provided them to the...
provided them to her, and I have an extra copy
Okay.
on myself. But there was, on the second request after, I believe that was the 13th, she requested to inspect manuals. We gave her a window. She did come down to Central Shops. She did see the manuals. Due to the size of the manuals, she did say that she would have a further request in the future for copies of these manuals because of the size of them.
But how about for this specific request?
This is done under my understanding.
Okay. Victor, do you know if Ms. Kaywood has anything else outstanding? It seems like she did not appear today because her request had been fulfilled, so we're only looking at violations for timeliness.
I have not received any additional communication
Okay.
from Ms. Kaywood.
Mr. Gallagher, can you go back and speak specifically to the timeliness issue and the city administrator's response as to whether their response was late or on time?
I believe our initial response was on time. We did state originally on the 13th, which was 10 days after the initial request on the 3rd, that we did not have the specific 300-hour inspections that she initially requested because Central Shops does not keep records that are labeled as 300-hour inspections.
Okay.
So we believe that we were respondent in those 10 days. We did give her an option for inspections, and that's where the 25 to 30,000 page number came from.
Okay.
We tried to provide her with an alternative. So yeah.
I believe I was speaking of the follow-up from Ms. Kaywood that was submitted on January the 16th. I believe she alleges there was no response to that until January the 31st.
So
the follow-up, the second half.
So the second half, there was further discussion to try to find if these binders existed. I talked to Tom Fung, who's the director of Central Shops, on a number of occasions to try to find if these things actually existed. And I know there were some other items that were submitted with our response that were somewhat alarming from Ms. Kaywood regarding the, how do I put it, the accusation of a employee not being able to review documentation due to a criminal status, and then further replying on that kind of led to some items where we had to further look into her entire request. But I feel that we were pretty accurate on reviewing all the documentation that she sent our way.
So it does sound like that second request was late. You had to go back and forth with Mr. Fung in order to...
We had to find the information, yes. That
Did
she
you
was
let her know
requesting.
that you would need an extension in order to find the more information? Or...
Off the top of my head, I don't know an answer to that.
Okay, that's fine. Victor, do you have any information to that issue? It sounds like there
All I
was
have
a
is Ms.
timeliness
Kaywood.
issue.
All I have is Ms. Kaywood's letter dated January the 31st. It states that on January 16, 2017, I clarified my request and specifically stated that I was requesting the handwritten records of the service mechanics who actually service SF Fire Department contained in SF Fire Department binders. From January 16th to present, which is the date January 31st, neither Bill Barnes or Jack Gallagher of the City Administrator's Office have responded to calls or emails.
Okay.
Oh, I have that, yeah.
So at this time, it seems like she has received the documents that she's requested, but that a violation did occur for that specific period. Would anyone like to make a motion to that issue? Victor, can you read out that time period? It was January 16th to January 31st?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to,
The only issue is this is kind of a follow-up to an existing request. I'm not sure if
That would be appropriate.
I'm just not
Could you repeat
clear.
that? Sorry, I don't understand.
The thing is, they did provide an initial response in a timely manner. However, there was clarification that was required, and I don't know if there's a specific timeline you need to respond to in
That's
terms
true.
of clarifying.
so this clarification, that was done in January was to that same request that they responded to back in October.
It does sound like that.
It was pertinent to the same request.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
that's a good point.
Could I make a further note that during that timeline, there was a back and forth on another set of emails where Ms. Cadewood was referencing violations from MOUs, which do not go through the city administrator's office or any of the divisions or offices under the city administrator's office. That would be a Department of Human Resources item. And we did mention within that email that we are still trying to review her requests, and we were talking to the city attorney's office for guidance on that item.
So there was communication with Ms. Kaywood during the time referenced in January regarding her October request?
We fulfilled her October request months within the time frame of that previous request. Her request from the inspection logs was a different request. We've had a number of requests from Ms. Kaywood over the past few months
Okay.
regarding items.
Victor, did Ms. Kaywood provide any other information about that time period or whether she thinks that a violation took place? If she does, then I would like to continue the item and ask her to speak to it. If not, then I'm finding it difficult to find a violation because it seems kind of like a separate issue, a follow-up, not, a failure to respond in a timely manner to the initial request.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit confused on the timing in the sense that I wonder, since these requests have been fulfilled to a certain extent, whether she still would want to find a violation, and if there's any way we could actually contact her in order to see if she would still request that the complaint be continued, and perhaps she
Withdraw.
doesn't,
Yeah.
and then she might withdraw, and I would be more comfortable with actually contacting her and seeing if that would be her position, and if that's why she did not attend today.
Can we do that?
And if not, then to have it continued at the next meeting.
Do that.
All right.
We can just continue the matter, and then I will contact Ms. Kaywood to find out if she would like to withdraw. And if
Sure.
she does not want to withdraw, we will ask that she appear at the next meeting to provide an explanation.
I think that makes sense.
Great.
And I will
So
provide
moved.
And I will provide an explanation to her of today's summary and provide her an audio recording so that she can review it also.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that motion seconded?
Second?
All right. Do we have any public comment on the motion? Seeing none, can we take a vote?
On the motion to continue the matter and to continue the matter to the next meeting with contact to be made with the complainant, Member Barnetsky.
Aye.
Barnetsky, aye. Member Hensy.
Aye.
Hensy, aye. Chair Tesfa.
Aye.
Tesfa, aye. The motion passes. Next on the agenda is item
Thank
number
you.
10, announcements, comments, questions, and future agenda items and pending calendar.
I don't have any announcements. Victor, do you have any announcements?
No, I do not.
Okay, so we'll just be meeting tomorrow. None of these items will be appearing, of course.
Just of concern, I believe at the last meeting of EOTC, the question of not requiring the two parties to appear at these meetings appears to be an issue that may be
Okay.
causing a problem that may be discussed tomorrow under the complaint procedures.
For EOTC? Okay.
Under the board,
Okay.
the full task force procedures, as they believe we need all parties present in order to hear the complaints at the committee level.
Okay.
There being no further business, would you like to adjourn the meeting?
Can we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Seeing no public comment?
The
we
meeting
are
is adjourned.
Thank-
The
we
meeting
are
is adjourned.